In Flat Willow, Montana, peace is measured in miles of open pasture and the sound of cattle in the morning. But one summer, that quiet was shattered not by crime, but by a neighbor with a clipboard and a grudge. What she didn't know was that the man fixing his fence wasn't just a rancher, he was the law. This is the true story of one deputy, one relentless neighbor, and the battle that shook a whole town awake. My name is Wade Langston. I wear two hats in Flat Willow: Montana Sheriff's Deputy and cattle rancher. The first one gets me respect. The second gets me calluses. I like it that way. There's something grounding about fence wire and early mornings, about knowing your neighbors by first name and their dogs by bark. I didn't move here for peace. I was born into it. I stayed for purpose. And then came Gretchen Wilkins. She showed up in June. Moved into the big colonial across the gravel road from my land. The house sat empty for years before she bought it sight unseen. She was from California. Everyone knew before she even unpacked. It wasn't just the out-of-state plates or the neon windbreaker she wore like armor. It was the way she looked at the land, like it was something to fix, instead of something to live with. The first time we spoke, she told me my cows were too close to her aesthetic. I smiled, assuming it was a joke. It wasn't. A few days later, she left a printed note taped to my tractor. Please respect our shared environment. Consider relocating livestock. Thank you. I didn't respond. I figured she'd adjust. She didn't. Over the next few weeks, the complaints rolled in like storm clouds. She filed reports with the county illegal livestock housing, animal neglect, improper chemical storage. Each claim triggered inspections and paperwork. My son, Brady, 16 and just getting good with a hammer, got questioned by an officer after Gretchen reported aggressive tool use. My boy came home shaken. She filmed us from her porch, measured our fences. Once, I watched her from my pasture, walking the line like a courtroom sketch artist. I stayed calm. I installed trail cams, logged every encounter. When Brady asked me why I wasn't fighting back, I told him, because if someone's digging their own hole, you don't interrupt. Then came the morning everything changed. I was repairing a stretch of fence, wire cutters in one hand, pliers in the other. Brady was feeding calves nearby. That's when I heard the sirens. 3 patrol cars barreled up my driveway, lights flashing like it was a raid. I stood still, boots in dirt. As they got out, across the road, there she was, Gretchen, arms waving, like she was signaling a rescue chopper. She screamed that I had threatened her with tools. One officer approached, tense. I reached into my back pocket and handed him my badge. The moment he read it, Gretchen's face drained white. That was the instant she realized she hadn't called the cops on a farmer. She had called them on the law. The responding officers knew me. One asked quietly if I wanted to press charges. I said no, not yet, but I wasn't letting it go. That night, I reviewed all my footage. One trail cam caught Gretchen crossing onto my land with bolt cutters, slicing through the fence. Her voice on the audio, "Your cows won't bother me again." I uploaded the clip to a rancher forum. Someone posted it to TikTok. It went viral overnight. And then things turned ugly. Someone loosened the bolts on my front gate. A steer wandered into the county road. A local school teacher, thank God, swerved in time. I filed an internal conflict of interest form and recused myself from any official involvement. Deputy Eliza Moreno took over, sharp as a tack and straight as a fence post. Eliza had no time for nonsense. What she found blew the lid off the story. Gretchen hadn't just targeted me. She had filed anonymous complaints against at least 4 other neighbors. One man, a former Marine with PTSD, was nearly evicted after a noise complaint. A widow named Martha had her backyard koi pond drained after Gretchen reported it as a mosquito breeding zone. This wasn't neighborhood conflict. This was targeted harassment, wrapped in HOA language and fake concern. Eliza subpoenaed internet records. Gretchen had created fake HOA stationery and sent forged violation notices to neighbors. One included a fine demand and amount payable to a personal PayPal account. I filed for a civil protection order, charged her with criminal mischief and trespassing. Eliza called a town hall meeting, held in the school gym. The place was packed. She set up a projector and played the trail cam footage. Gretchen's voice. The bolt cutters. The note on my tractor. Every piece documented. The room erupted not in anger, but in collective disbelief. The kind of shock that turns into action. The HOA. Previously silent. Fined her. Misdemeanor charges were filed. But more importantly, the community responded. We formed the Flat Willow Property Rights Council, a group of neighbors, lawyers, ranchers, and teachers dedicated to protecting landowners from this kind of urban imperialism disguised as standards. Gretchen filed a countersuit, claimed emotional distress. Character defamation. The judge watched the footage, looked at the stack of reports, forged letters, and neighbor testimonies, then dismissed her case with prejudice. He called her actions a sustained campaign of antagonism. Her car disappeared 2 days later. The for sale sign went up the morning after. She left without a word. I stood on my porch with Brady, watching as the moving truck rolled away. He didn't say much, just leaned on the rail and asked, "Think she'll try this somewhere else?" I looked out across our pasture, the late summer sun burning gold on the grass. Not if they have cameras, I said, or a badge. I didn't win anything special. I didn't want a statue or parade. I just wanted to be left alone to raise my boy, tend my cattle, and mend fences literally and metaphorically. But when someone steps onto your land with bolt cutters and entitlement, they need to understand this isn't just land. It's family. It's history. And around here, it's protected by law, by camera, and if needed, by me.